Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another news update on Boxmining. So today we got a lot to cover and it relates really to this. So this is the Chinese national currency, the renminbi, and Tether really did something crazy, which is that they issued out a tethered version of the renminbi. So we're going to take a really deep dive at this in detail because issuing this has very long-term implications on what's going to happen, especially within the Chinese community. There might be an influx of new Chinese users, but that's counterbalanced by this potential that this move might really piss off the Chinese government. So we'll look at all the facets of what's happening in today's news. We're also going to cover a little bit about what's happening on the institutional front as well, because BAKKT right now, the warehouse is online. So this is the big exchange that everyone's looking to because it's regulated. It's done by ICE, International Continental Exchange, and everyone is expecting that this is going to bring institutional investors. So we're going to look at that status today. And of course, everything covered here is my personal opinion, not financial advice. And if you guys want to be really up to date with what's happening in the cryptocurrency scene, make sure you subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell down below. So let's start off with this. Right now, Tether launched a new stablecoin based off Chinese renminbi, so the Chinese national currency. This really seems like a logical move for them because they've already issued a tether of the US national currency, the USD. So issuing the renminbi doesn't seem that far off, does it? Well, right now, in terms of the execution, it's no longer a rumor. Right now, 20 million CNHT, that's what they're calling it. That's already been minted. And we got the top comment here from Thomas saying, "Let the shit show begin," and a few WTFs lying around. Now, let's talk about the positives. Like, what will this bring? And why are some people excited and some people really freaked out by this? Let's start off with the excited part. The opportunity here is that once Tether issues out this tether based on the renminbi instead of the USD, it's going to make it a lot easier for Chinese people to start buying cryptocurrencies. In fact, many people who aren't into crypto can also enjoy the benefits because right now, renminbi, offshore accounts of renminbi are heavily monitored by the Chinese government. So by having it on the blockchain, by having it as an ERC20 token, people can basically freely transfer it at will. They're not subject to any regulations from the bank side, and it's actually pretty much what people want. It's freedom to spend the renminbi. And in fact, in terms of getting it, it's actually much easier too, because currently right now, for the Chinese, if they actually want to buy cryptocurrencies or anything in crypto, it's relatively difficult because the exchanges, the fiat on-ramps onto crypto, those are officially closed. Because of that, people now negotiate on essentially WeChat. So they just go on their phones, they negotiate a strike price for a transaction to occur, and then do the bank transfer. Issue here is that because both the USDT and Bitcoin prices fluctuate for exchange to yen, it's relatively hard to negotiate a price. But if it's actually based on the renminbi, well then hopefully they can just get one-to-one. They don't even have to bargain about the price. It makes the whole process a lot cleaner and a lot easier. So that sounds great, right? That sounds great for crypto. Everyone can move forward. Yay. What's the problem? Well, the problem comes from the central Chinese government. Because the renminbi is heavily monitored, and even foreign exchange, that's very tightly controlled. This means that if you actually make the renminbi free moving, like by putting it on as a token on a blockchain, the Chinese government's going to be really pissed off at that. On top of this, then this might actually bring on additional wrath as well, because we said Chinese are technically meant to close down their exchanges. And current Chinese exchanges, they get around by saying, you know what, we just cater to foreign customers. We don't do Chinese people. That's kind of how they get around with that. But if any exchange is ballsy enough to start implementing and doing exchanges with the CNHT, with that Chinese currency, there's very little excuse now. Now, if they get caught red-handed, that's going to be a little bit of an issue, where a little bit is a big understatement. So this is why people are saying, oh, let the shit show begin. This is going to go set in fire. And we've seen the Chinese community panicking over this. So now the Chinese are just waiting to see what will happen next. Will the Chinese government come in, step in, and do a further extended crackdown on cryptocurrencies? Pretty much because crypto is right now stepping on their toes. Or will they just not care and focus on the trade war? So this is really where the big dilemma is coming in from. Now let's take a look at what's happening with BAKKT. And yet again, I really want to look at this topic overall because it's going to have huge implications to what's going to happen to Bitcoin and to institutional investors down the road. Now, BAKKT, we've been talking about it for more than a year now, mostly because it's done by a very regulated entity. And also, it promises institutional investors that they can start trading on physically delivered products, meaning they actually deal with BTC rather than contracted BTC, which just doesn't feel as safe. Now, in terms of their status, they're planning to launch their futures product on September 23rd of this year. And right now, they've opened out their warehouses for deposit. So these are all tools that allow institutions to start getting exposure to Bitcoin. And in many senses, I'm actually really glad that this finally got regulatory approval. They're now bragging that they have $125 million insurance policy on those warehouse stored Bitcoin. And hopefully this really allows institutions to feel much safer. We've been discussing this for a while. Why don't institutions keep the Bitcoin themselves? Well, the answer is, who's going to keep it? What, the accountant? Because at the end of the day, institutions are run by people, and those people could potentially just grab Bitcoin and run. And that's why these warehouse storage solutions are really important. The way I view it is that this provides the first step. It builds a foundation for the institutions to come in, but we can't expect them to just hoard and immediately charge into cryptocurrencies as an asset. I feel like this is something that needs to be built up over time. In terms of the other big institutional tool, the ETF, there's kind of a mixed message being sent out right now. So SEC Chairman Jay Clayton said progress is being made, but work left to be done. So it's really not saying much. My expectation is that this is going to take a long time, and we're going to see news similar to this for a while. This is also really interesting. It seems that Japan is really taking a big liking to the Brave browser. So it actually beat out Chrome and Opera and other browsers in Google Play rankings, showing that Japanese people are downloading this more. And in terms of figures, Brave downloaded 2 million times last month. So that's actually really good. That's actually getting real big headways forward. Guys, comment down below if you guys use Brave, what you guys think. Personally, I've been using Brave for more than a year. In fact, the browser that I'm using right now to show you this is the Brave browser. And if you guys are interested in checking that out, make sure you click it with the link down below. I'll have a referral link somewhere. So it does really help my channel grow a little bit as well. Lastly, this bit of news relates to BitMEX. So BitMEX right now, their chief operating officer, Angelina Huang, she has officially stepped down. So recently, on top of this, being in Hong Kong, being a Hong Kong exchange, they actually banned all Hong Kong users from trading as well. So if you read between the lines, something is happening at BitMEX, but we just kind of have to wait to see exactly what is happening. In terms of what they're doing, I actually found this quite bad as well, because I read about this Angelina Huang stepping down. It was actually first noticed when her LinkedIn profile fails to mention her position at BitMEX. And their PR agency actually really strongly attacked news websites trying to publish this news. Even till right now, they can confirm that Angelina Huang is leaving the company and is on gardening leave right now. And that's all they can say on the matter. So there seems to be a lot happening in the background that they can't tell us. But I think we really need to read between the lines here and be extremely vigilant and cautious. And that's it for today's update, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And I also have a really cool episode with my adventures in Thailand. We spent the entire day in Thailand trying to spend only on the cryptocurrency Zcoin alone. Will we survive?
or will we fail catastrophically? Find out in this video.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Now you ask me why I don't use it, because it doesn't work.
That video is coming up really soon, and I hope you guys can stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you tomorrow.